Okay, the plot thickens with Manchester United's lookout for a replacement for Alejandro Garnacho. We know where we're up to with Garnacho, but what is this talk about a loan deal for Christopher Nkunku from Chelsea to Manchester United? This, I'm going to be honest right from the start, in my own personal preference and how I see this deal, is exactly what Manchester United need to be doing if there isn't anyone they can bring in right now. Let's just make that very, very clear that this is a good deal for Manchester United if it's a loan. We're going to go into where this has come from and what's been said over the last few hours. We're also going to talk about other options that Manchester United have got in the striker department and what has been offered to them as well and what they may be looking at, possibly for long term as well. There's a lot that works in with Nkunku and another target for Manchester United when it comes to what we can do now and then what's easier for us in the summer. There is a lot going on behind the scenes right now. It's all coming to fruition. There is a big update from from David Ornstein regarding the Marcus Rashford situation, which will encourage a lot of Manchester United fans. Stay tuned and get your comments in on that one because we're going to give you that as well. But we are starting with Christopher Nkunku and this move that we talked about this morning. We were talking about Manchester United and Chelsea wanting 70 million. Walk away. Don't even go near it. There's no point in signing Nkunku, I thought, not taking anything away from the quality of the player at all. I made that point clear this morning. There's no point in signing him and getting rid of Garnacho. That is not going to appease the fans. That is not going to make Manchester United any stronger in the future, I don't think. It's not what we can plan around. I think there are better options than Nkunku if we're going to spend money. But if Nkunku was available on loan till the end of the season, that changes everything, because where we don't want to desperately dive into the market and buy a player for stupid money and below what we wanted to do in the summer, this gives us a chance to actually still salvage something from the season with better players than what we've actually got. I'm not saying that Nkunku right now is doing more than Garnacho. Please don't misquote me on that one. But what I am saying is this is a player that will work with more experience in a system that Ruben wants and probably work better at this time than what Garnacho would. And right now we don't want to be just sailing off and forgetting about this season completely into the summer. We need to be salvaging what we can out of this season. There's still 2 trophies to fight for Manchester United, and we can win both of these trophies. We know we can. We've been crap over the last few seasons and still won trophies. So we know that there is a way of salvaging the season right now, and we cannot even think like that. We can't think that this is now just because Ruben's coming now we have to give up. He's not thinking that way. United are not. There is moves being made in the transfer market right now, I think, and it is having a bigger look at what might happen in the summer. I'm going to talk about that in a moment. But first of all, get into the comment section, the live comment section, and tell me what you think regarding Christopher Nkunku now as a loan to where you was this morning as a sale. Now, a lot of people in the chats this morning when we were talking about Nkunku coming to United, no, forget it, not looking at that, let's not go there. A loan changes everything. And remember what I said the other day. Remember what I said, Incensio going to Ipswich on loan from Brighton, wanting game time, attacking midfielder. Manchester United coming in for an 11th hour bid for him on loan. It does look like there is a loan effort right now from United. This is the second player they're rumoured to be talking about bringing in on loan, not permanent. Their targets are not here in this window. I think it is quite clear. This was the biggest concern. And now this Garnacho deal is moving further forward and we're expecting more to develop over the coming hours, and this weekend being a big part of it and what might happen in that deal. I think we're coming to the conclusion now that where it's taken United by surprise that they've actually got the bid that they probably want for Garnacho and he can move, and it does help us out massively financially. I don't think we had anything prepared in terms of bringing the player in. There were players that we want that we just cannot get. We're not going to go to Sporting and get a player in because Ruben said so. He's not going to go back on that. We know this. In the January transfer window, you never really get the chance to buy the right type of players. We know this also. But what you do have to look at and what you do have to take into consideration is that the surprise factor is there, yes. But is there an option in a loan that Manchester United could bring in? Look, if Nkunku smashes it at United, if he does come in, like it's a big if still. Don't get me wrong. This is just talk coming from Damashev, from Sky, and a few other people have alluded to it as well. And I think it is just I think it's a deal that United should be looking at. But I think the bigger bigger picture in this is like I've just said, United looking at loans. Their targets are not actually available. They're not here in January. I think that's quite clear. There's no one that they can get that they want permanently. They're putting all of their efforts into Patrick Dorgu right now, and we're expecting that to still go through from what we've been told as well. So if everything's going into that, Garnacho comes in. Yes, the money's there to spend for Garnacho, but if we can get Dorgu in, that's a replacement for Anthony. You got Nkunku in, and that'll be a replacement for Garnacho. And Rashford possibly. We may even bring another loan in. I honestly, I don't know. United are working on a few deals right now. You could argue the point, like if Garnacho goes, United could go in and structure a deal for, let's just say, you could go and structure a deal for Cunha, a player like that. That's what you could do. I feel like right now, I mean, if United are in this position right now with Nkunku, they can get him in on loan. I feel like United will personally still go in for somebody else. I think they do need someone else. And yeah, I think like right now, I'm just looking at this and going, I'm still not fully convinced. I'm still not completely with everything with Nkunku and this actually happening. I do like the loan better. I think this suits Manchester United a lot more. I think it's sensible. And I think if you have got targets in the summer and Garnacho's money can go on them, they are better players rather than panic buying right now in January. I just feel like this right now is exactly where Manchester United need to be. I think this is the kind of deal that United need to be looking at. No commitment. Somebody who can do a job for us and do a job well, who is experienced and good. And don't get me wrong, like if he does smash it and pulls up trees, absolutely blows Ruben Amorim away, and he's thinking about signing permanently, we'll talk about that in the summer. I can't see that, honestly. I don't. I think this is a bigger plan. I think there is a lot more going on here right now. I think there's a lot more actually to look at with the loan setup. And I don't think it'll just be Nkunku. I think there'll be other names. Like we've just said, Enciso from Brighton to Ipswich, that was another player that we were looking at. I just look at this and go, I think this is the angle that United are trying to push right now. I think this is where everything is leading to. I wouldn't call it quick fix. It kind of is because it's only 6 months. But I just think that United are looking at this and going, okay, loan's the way to go. What quality is out there right now that we can help somebody else out with in terms of Chelsea and Nkunku wanting to leave? He has come out and said he wants to leave Chelsea. There's a player there that can move away. And if he actually feels like playing for United and playing first-team football for United, which he will, is better for him, then you've got a player fully on board then for 6 months, the rest of the season. And I think that benefits Manchester United more than buying and risking a signing on a player that you're not too sure about, that you're probably going to have to spend more money on because it's January and nobody wants to sell in January. I think you've got a ready-made player there that you can use. I think this would probably be, if we signed Nkunku on loan, I would say this would be the best loan signing United have made. This definitely would be up there. I think it is sensible. It completely changes my mind about Nkunku in terms of whether I think it's the right move and transfer for Manchester United. I just like the loan idea better because there's no commitment and he does give us something different and he's a better quality of player than what we've got up there right now. And I'm talking Højlund, I'm talking Xerxes. I think he is better than both of them. And then you're looking at a different proposition altogether for United. You've got a player who's strong, who can hold the ball up, who's got an eye for goal, who's creative, who does have that little X factor on his day. Yes, we're all concerned about his injury record, but for 6 months, you're not committed. He hasn't been injured this season. He's a clean bill of health. And if you're going to work into a rotation for Ruben Amorim, then I think it works perfect, does it not? Am I making enough points there to convince you? Look, if you're not convinced about it still, don't go for it. Don't go for it. Don't just go with what I'm saying, basically. I think United are being sensible. I think it is a realistic option for United going forward. And I think he does add quality enough to the team for now. I do believe United will then use the Garnacho money in the summer. Look, all options are still open right now. Let's not forget, Nkunku's still at Chelsea. Garnacho's still at United. Garnacho will probably be playing tomorrow against Fulham. Nothing has moved forward in any way. Nothing has moved forward at all. So when you're looking at everything as it is now, there's a lot to happen next week. I think next week we are all going to be tuned in and just glued to our phones, glued to the radio, and trying to find out what is happening right now. But it does look like we're setting up a bit of a bonanza of a last week of the transfer window. And I think this is, personally, I think this is United now moving into an area in this transfer window where you start to take it seriously. Like with Nkunku, I can take that seriously. I'm not going to just pass that off as a stupid sort of story or a transfer rumour or a bit of speculation. I think that really is actually where United are at. I don't think they want to spend that money in January. And whether it is Nkunku or somebody else, I think it will be a loan. I don't think we're going to get a permanent player in. And I think we are going to spend Brewsters and really go to town in the transfer window in the summer. That's just how it's panning out to me anyway. But let's get into the chat on this and let's see what you're all saying regarding Nkunku. Let's see what we think. He does play. I think he's more of a 10. I don't think he's a 9. I don't. But I think he gives us that option. I think he really does give us that option. I think he can play in between both. False 9. I think he's good in 10. I think he's off. He does come out wide a little bit as well. Like I said, he has got that creative side to him as well. He does get quite a few assists. So, yes. Let's look at it that way and let's just go, okay, right now, is he better than what we got? Yes. Can he improve the team in terms of the style and what Ruben Amorim wants? I think he suits one of them 10 roles perfectly. And I think for 6 months without spending a lot of money, sensible football. I always said it. Nkunku is injury prone, ? Says Sheik. Caddy. Yeah, well, not this season, no. He had have a bad injury when he first came to Chelsea. He had a bad knee injury. He's been in and out the side now, though, but fully fit and ready to go now. That's what you've got to look at. And if it only is only 6 months, are you as concerned? I know we need someone for now. And if he gets injured again this season, it looks kind of stupid. And what I'm saying is idiotic, really, isn't it? I'm trying to build up a case here to bring a player in for 6 months. And if he's not going to be available because of injury, then yes. Nkunku, 2 goals and 1 assist in 18 Premier League matches. Just look at the stats. Yep, I'm looking at the stats. I'm also looking at the amount of game time that he's also had and starts and everything like that. And if you're going to do that, what is Garnacho bringing you as well? Because look at his Premier League stats. They're not much better. So, yes, if you want to bring in all of Garnacho's stats, I will bring in all of Nkunku's stats as well, which, let's be honest, is 17 goal involvements in all competitions this season, not just the Premier League. So, yes, Garnacho, money in the bank for the summer. Nkunku, work better in an Amorim system. I can see where it's going. I understand people don't want to sell Garnacho. I'm not going down that road. I'm not saying Nkunku's better than Garnacho right now. I'm saying that we need something to cover Garnacho and be able to spend money and properly rebuild in the summer when the real targets and real players are available and we can do proper business. January's not good. But if we can move Garnacho on right now to help our PSR situation and then deal with it all in the summer, then I think that's how United are thinking. Look, I'm disgusted as much as everybody else that we're having to do this and we're in this situation we're in right now with the money. Well, I'm only stating what is out there and what will happen rather than what I hope will happen. What I hope will happen is Garnacho absolutely smashes it to pieces and turns into the actual player that people think he is or think he could be. That's what I think. That's what I think. I'm sorry, just checking something else that came through there then. But no, on this, let's get into some more of your comments. Nkunku has had 0 injuries in the past year. Mohammed, so you think Nkunku would play number 9? No, I don't. I think he'll interchange a little bit. I think it'll be swapping around. I think it's still going to be Xerxes and Rasmus Højlund, and I think Nkunku will play one of the 10s, like what Garnacho is. And I'm going to be honest, I think Nkunku happens. I think United look at this, even if Garnacho doesn't go. Because we're getting rid of Rashford, and if Nkunku is alone and Garnacho doesn't go, I think United will still go for Nkunku on loan. That's what I wanted to make a point of as well. This is not a Garnacho replacement per se. I think that this is actually a move that United would probably look at anyway. Because Rashford, we're trying to move Rashford on, which I'm going to be updating you on in just a moment's time. Don't forget, guys, straight after this show, we are on Football Talks. It is Soccer Saturday. We are covering Arsenal versus Wolves live, and we'll have all of the scores from the other 3 o'clock kickoffs along the way as well. We have just opened up the membership scheme as well. The live link is there. We are going to be gifting some memberships to people in the show as a as an opening membership day and a special today on Football Talk. So please join us after that. You will be directed as well. So yeah, hopefully we can get a few people in there. And let's go into some more comments on this. Getting rid of Rashford. Where are you getting this from? Mr. Misery, I don't know football. Come on. We have to listen to David Ornstein of The Athletic. You only have to look online, my friend, to see that one. Come on. You don't have to put a negative slant on everything, my friend. So, yes, to go into that and what is actually happening with Marcus Rashford. We'll move on to that next, actually. So everybody is well aware of it. But earlier on, David Ornstein was talking on a podcast regarding the situation with Marcus Rashford, with what is actually going on. I'm just going to bring up the actual from this. Just bear with me a second. So just to go over it briefly and what is actually going on with it. Let's just see. Okay. Right, so situation is David Ornstein's been talking about quite a little bit on his podcasts on The Athletic. United looked into signing Nuno Mendes, but it was ultimately too expensive. So we knew about that. We've covered that this month. I think we're getting, like I said, getting down to the last few days of the transfer window. You're going to get like little roundups like this and recaps from people like Ornstein and stuff. We'll start to find out about stuff that United tried to do earlier in the window but couldn't do. This is one of them. He says that Mendes is just too expensive. United could not make it happen. So right there, that pretty much tells us that Mendes was the number one target. That's what United wanted. We couldn't get him because of the finances, and we've moved on. We're now on to Patrick Dorgu. He also says United want to sell Rashford. The club initiated his sale. So Ruben doesn't want him. The club doesn't want him. That's Ornstein. So let that sink in. Ornstein did come out and say that Rashford people have said that he's got no problem with Ruben Amorim and he's ready to play 100% if ever he picks him in the side. They're just trying to make it look like Rashford is playing ball right now, Rashford's people. Ruben doesn't want him. United have put him up for sale. It's as simple as that. So there you go. It's the club's decision. Nobody else's. Barcelona are working on it. Now, obviously, he says Barcelona, Marcus Rashford to Barcelona can happen. It is just complicated. We talked this morning about Mundo Deportivo, the publication in Spain, talking about Marcus Rashford possibly accepting a pay cut to make it happen with Barcelona. We covered it all this morning, but with David Ornstein coming out and saying that United are pushing this forward and are making this their priority to try and help Ruben Amorim. Well, he didn't say that, but that's how I read it personally. I think if United have initiated the sale of Marcus Rashford, then they are going down that road. But the one thing that he also did say was that Manchester United want to have most, if not all, of Marcus Rashford's wages covered. That's their stance. We talked about it this morning because of how we've done the deal with Antony. If Marcus Rashford is to go, Ineos' stance on senior players leaving isn't going to be as cut and thrust as it was with the likes of Sancho, where they're paying a massive amount of these wages. I've said and called Ineos out before on many shows, and you can all quote me on it, I don't mind, about them actually taking the hit on Marcus Rashford. I think right now there's no chance of that happening. I think with what we've seen with Antony's loan deal and what's been said by Ornstein right here is that Marcus Rashford right now, if he's going and he wants anything subsidised to try and make it easier for the buying club or loaning club of him, then he's the one who's going to have to make a bit of a cut. He's the one who's going to have to drop his wages a tad to make this happen. So reality tells you there that we're standing strong like we did with Antony. We've got most of his deal, and we could actually come out with that, earning money out of that, which is said before again, like it's ridiculous, like wow. And then you're looking at Marcus Rashford. If United can get most of that covered, we will save a shed load. Selling Garnacho, if that does happen this month, Manchester United will absolutely breeze through PSR for this financial year, but then have all of that money that we have saved to then spend in the next financial year. So you can expect probably another 200 million plus being spent in the summer. I don't think, when talking about Ineos coming out and saying, because we talked about the Ruben Amorim situation yesterday about him not knowing the finances about United and in depth on what was really going on, but then United came back and said that Ruben did know. It was made very, very clear to him that there was no more summers of 200 plus million rebuilds continuously. We do need to rebuild now, though, because we're having to get rid of so many. So the first few years of Ineos, I think, is going to be quite significant spending, but don't expect that to go up and up and up. I think it will end up just trickling down and down and down as they settle into a proper transfer structure at the football club. And I think that's what they're trying to aim to. They know they've got to make a lot of sacrifices and pay a lot of money out for certain things and players and whatnot at the start, because we need to be able to back Ruben Amorim. If what's done before is all being completely tore apart, which it looks like it is, with nearly all of Ten Hag's signings going by Dubai, then you are going to have to spend significant amounts of money. And I think this is what is probably going to happen in the first season for Ruben Amorim. I think he is going to get properly backed. I would be amazed if United don't spend over 200 million in the summer. I really would. Only if Garnacho gets sold, by the way. I just need to make that point very, very clear. That money has to be put back in. United would absolutely cruise through PSR if Garnacho went, if Rashford was gone. And what's happened with Anthony right now? They've absolutely mullered it. So let's see from this point now, if it is loans and the likes of Nkunku and players like that coming in to Manchester United because they want to save themselves for the summer, I think this is where Manchester United are actually at. I'm going to come into the chat again on this one. I'm going to keep bringing you up to date if anything does break. We do have a gifted membership from the Angry Beaver again, second member of the show. Thank you very much, mates. There was another one gifted by him earlier on as well. 2 in the show, 1100 in the room, and a Saturday lunch. I love this. I absolutely love the numbers and commitments. Give the video a like, everybody. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV as well. We're on the march to 75k. You know the score. Hit the subscribe button, bell notification on as well to make sure you get completely updated. You know, if you are new to this channel, you won't know, but everyone here does know already. Anything breaks, any news at all, I've got you completely covered. And we go into every tiny little detail of every move. We give my opinion as well. Sometimes you disagree. That's fine. Because in this community, we don't block you out unless you are really abusive and just pushing the wrong buttons. We take it on board. I either get sat down or I come back and we have a good old football debate. That's what it's all about. Another gifted membership from London as well. Thank you very much, my friend. All right, comment section. What are you saying? Talk to me. Tell me I'm talking crap. Newcastle lost Elliot Anderson to Forest for peanuts for PSR. We need to be looking at other clubs' academies to grab talents. This is what is happening. And I said it this morning. Tyler Diblin as well. We're looking at Dorgu, 18-year-old, 20-year-old. I'm going to get into Manchester United's academy in a bit because there is movement there as well. So we're going to get into that also. But this is what is happening. Teams are looking at the academy level to break that mould. The PSR loophole is academy players. Unfortunately, you don't want to hear that. It's not how we want to run. But this is what City and Chelsea have cottoned on to. Newcastle are trying to do things, but they've lost. I mean, you look at Lewis Hall. That was a commitment, a season with an obligation to buy from Chelsea. Lewis Hall was another brilliant academy player at Chelsea, but they've sold him to Newcastle. Bang, 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 ching, ching, ching. More money in the bank, PSR finance. Look at you only have to count the amount of academy players that Chelsea and City have moved on. They are just savvy and know exactly what to do with it and how to manipulate the market. And I think everybody's trying to catch up right now. But United are in a very, very comfortable position if they do sell Garnacho financially. It's a debate that we've been having for the last few weeks, isn't it, though? Like, is it worth selling an academy player? Or is it just a case of, like, well, we need the money. We've got to get better players in now. Ruben hasn't got time. The debate's going to rumble on and on and on and on. If Garnacho gets sold this year, you can't spend the profit next year. Yes, you can. You've got to understand. Again, I don't know football. Come on, mate. This year is going up to June 30th. The money's still in Manchester United's account. So this year we will be covered. We've only got, what, left of it right now? 6 months left of it, of this financial year. So what gets done now will benefit Manchester United into next season because it's rolling. It goes across to the next year. So what we make now benefits us in the next financial year. You get what I mean by that? We're trying to cover what we do from now till June. That's the worrying PSR part of this. That's That's where we're at right now. So the next 6 months are crucial for United. That's what we're explaining. But that money is still there. Look, I don't know if United are going to spend all of that Garnacho money. They made us leave some aside. They may have certain targets in mind. We'll see, won't we? We'll see who else gets sold, because let's not forget, if Manchester United are going in the direction that they're saying, then it also means that the likes of Rashford's going to be sold in the summer. Other players will be moved on as well. So we will have more money then that's made in that financial year as well. So this is what you have to take into account. Let's see what else says here. It talks about Nkunku. New news are that this Nkunku deal would be a loan for 6 months and option to buy, so low risk. I think he's just replying to someone. Yeah, in terms of anybody who isn't up to date on what is going on, Sky reporting today and a few other people reporting today that Manchester United will only look to do a loan deal for Nkunku. We talked this morning about the price that it would be and how much of a waste that would be for United of the finances, because we've probably got better options to buy in January in the summer. But now United will not, is incredibly unlikely is the words that were being used about buying Nkunku on a permanent. It's only going to be a loan. Martin Lawton says, getting rid of Garnacho and bringing in the vicar of Dibbler. He's talented, yes, but have you seen his stats for this year? No end product. A big mistake taking a short-term approach selling Garnacho. I look at Garnacho's stats as well, mate. They're not much better. All he's done is had some big moments in Carabao Cup games. His Premier League stats right now are pretty similar to what Dibbling has. And let's forget, Garnacho has played 9 more games than Dibbling this season. So, yeah, what you have to look at is productivity. If Dibbling is creating things, it's probably because he's got a brilliant striker there that's putting the chances away. It's only half of the story. Stats, don't look at the stats. Don't let them completely dictate how you look at it. That's all I'll say, because they're not real. How many chances have United missed this season? Like, Bruno's stats should be monumental. They should be. Garnacho should be better probably as well, but they're not. I'm not saying that... I'm not saying this in defence for Garnacho. I'm saying it in defence of everybody altogether. Stats don't tell you a full picture. It's like, for instance, anyone arguing the point for Nkunku. They can drive their own narrative or agenda and say, well, 17 goal involvements for Nkunku this season. I would argue that back and say only 3 of them have come in the Premier League this season. Whichever way you want to do it, stats can be determined in different ways. And that, personally, for me, is the issue that you've got right now. I think everybody's looking at just numbers. And numbers do add up. There are some important things in there. Don't get me wrong, but they're not everything. They're not everything, I don't think. Fulham is one to watch. Their game tomorrow. We need the Anfield/Emirates fighting spirit to the whole 90 minutes to get a result. Take a game to Fulham. No sucker punches. Well, you kind of contradicted yourself there, Spirit, to be honest, because we cannot play the way we played against Liverpool and Arsenal. That was backs to the wall, certain system and certain formation against better teams. If we're expected to take the game to Fulham, we will probably lose, like we have done. I'll get into the Fulham game more probably later on today and into tomorrow, but I'm not confident. That's all I'll say with that Fulham game. Really not confident. And Nkunku, quality and suitability is not in QBT. He should not be here on any permanent basis. Maybe 6-month loan. That's it. That's what we are talking about, though. Garnacho shooting is under 9s level, says Andrew. I think we should walk away from the Dorgu deal. The price is too much for a new raw talent. Bit more and we can get Mendes. No, we can't really, because we haven't got 50 million to spend. It's another 20 million to get Mendes. That's a lot of money. I don't think we've got that right now for January. I do believe that it was Mendes if we could get him this month and make a deal happen, but it was just never going to happen. But hey, we've moved on, and like Ornstein said, new targets, and United apparently have been very, very impressed with the reports from Dorgu, and that, I feel, is everything. That is everything. If I'm United, I'm dropping Garnacho off and picking up Nkunku. That was Paul Merson talking from Sky today. What can we expect? Paul Merson says Christopher Nkunku would be a signing and a half for Manchester United, but doesn't understand why Chelsea want Garnacho. Yeah, well, no surprise there. That's Paul Merson talking complete and utter nonsense again on Sky. Everyone will have their opinion on this, of course, and that's what we're talking about right now. But does Nkunku fit the system for Ruben Amorim? That's the only thing that should be debated right now. That is it. Anyway, please do hit the subscribe button. Make sure you've given the video a like as well, everybody. We are creeping up to that 75k mark. Let's get there. Let's get there as soon as possible. Hopefully we're there next month. That would be nice. And get the likes up as well, everyone. We're well over 200 already. We've got near 1,200 in the room. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget, we are going straight across from here to Football Talks. We'll carry on the football conversation. We're having our Soccer Saturday on Football Talks, covering Arsenal, Wolves, but we will have all of the other games on as well, keeping you up to date with all of the scores. Get involved. It is Soccer Saturday without the crap. That is it. Anyway. On to what else is going on. Now, when I talk about loans and I talk about Manchester United bringing players in on loan, I think this is because there's bigger plans for the summer. They don't want to spend any more money than what they have to in January. I do believe that United will be spending more money in the summer, like I just said. Could one of them deals actually not cost Manchester United anything at all? Because we have been offered Jonathan David. Again, Jonathan David, another player. It's a free transfer. This is the thing with Jonathan David. His stats, again, like people have got a problem with Jonathan David. They don't think he's the right quality. But then you look at his stats, and his stats add up. Better than most, to be honest. This is the guy that is scoring in the Champions League. I think he's got 4 in the Champions League this season. So scoring at the top level as well. And I think I've mentioned this before. I think in the games he scored against as well, I think he scored against Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid, Juventus. So scoring against top teams. So you could drive the argument for Jonathan David. You could say, he's another stat monster. Is he good enough? That's what I mean by stats. There's more to it. I think there's more within the player. And obviously numbers do help sales. Numbers do help you go forward with deals. But still, like, Jonathan David is a free agent in the summer. If anything, you're probably looking at him as a really, really good squad player. And if you sell Anthony, you sell Rashford, and you bring in someone like Jonathan David in to come and play, then I think it's a no-brainer. I would be going out and getting Jonathan David anyway, because I think United can more than afford him on a free, and his wages are not going to be astronomical. I've not heard anything report-wise that he's demanding a certain wage or anything. He's not been on mega money at Lille. I don't think he would be up there in United's top 10 highest earners when he comes into the club. And if it's a free transfer, then my God, United need to be looking at these clever deals, because this is what Juventus do. This is what Real Madrid do. You have to balance everything. We're talking about the academy players. We're talking about them being sold. We're talking about finding them little gems, because other clubs have to sell their academy players to balance the books. We're also talking about what the bigger teams do in loaning players in that are free agents. Like Real Madrid, look what they do. I mean, Rudiger, Alaba, all of these types of players, quality, absolute quality. Bayern Munich do it as well. Juventus are the masters at the free transfer. Don't we know it? I mean, my God, what they did with us and Paul Pogba was absolutely criminal. But still, we have to be aware of every situation, I think. I think United will be. Look, even Angel Gomez is a free transfer this summer as well. Some big players are available this summer, and they will be snapped up by clubs that are competing with us. I just think if we are looking to actually make a stronger squad and get some strong squad depth, have your targets that you want to spend money on, and then obviously looking in the market for the bargains, because there really are some out there this summer. And I think it's getting a little bit more realistic when it comes to financial fair play around of Europe. The prices are not creeping up over that 100 million mark much anymore. You're not getting these massive sales like you used to do. I think it is starting to come down a little bit. So let's see what this transfer window brings. Let's see exactly what Manchester United can do in these clever little deals as well. But you tell me in the chats. I mean, would you take Jonathan David on a free? Are you looking at him as the quality of player? I would take him. I would take him personally. I think even for squad depth, I think he's the right type of signing for United to make. I really do. But we will see. We will see on that one. Let me know, everyone. Let's sign Ryan Shirky. Another player. Yep, I get it. We talked about him before as well. United scouts are going to watch Alvaro Fernandez. Look, we've been watching him all through the season. I don't think it's anything breaking news-wise on that. I've seen that report as well. That came out from Portugal. The United scouts are out watching Alvaro. United are fully in for Patrick Dorgu. I think there'll be one more bid, and that'll be it. I think walk away. I think one more bid will actually get the deal done. And then we're not going to be anywhere near Alvaro anytime soon at all with what we've got numbers-wise in our squad. But yeah, Jonathan David, talk to me. Amorim needs backs. Highly doubt it'll happen, says Ewan. We need more Premier League proven players next season. Let's see. How's that Suzuki fella doing? Yeah, the one we should have bought for peanuts that we're now being linked with for 40 million. Yeah, I remember him as well. Let's see what else we got. I wouldn't pay 61 quid to watch a league game, says Graham. Free transfer is so low risk, well worth the gamble with Jonathan David. I think so as well. I do. Champions League proven player right there who scores goals, who can play 9 and 10 as well. Very versatile, workhorse, reliability. I think it's there. I think that is everything that we need right now. Personally, I think if United didn't go for Jonathan David, I would be shocked. Especially with what Ineos are doing right now. If you're looking to cut corners and find bargains and make this work, then you really do need to be all over little deals like this. They are perfect for what Manchester United need right now. Let's see. Paul says, the way it sounds like it's going, we're never going to get back to the top. I was listening to the radio actually before coming back from football, and someone was saying like that, actually, we always expect someone like United, just because of the finances, just because of the size of the football club, you always just take it for granted that eventually the bigger earners, the bigger clubs, it will always turn around. But we're talking a decade right now. Is it more realistic that Manchester United are not going to turn this round to actually turning it around? Because it seems to be getting worse and worse. I think we've just stopped it before we fall off a complete cliff. Like, yeah, the results are not bad right now, but I think we've burst the bubble right now and everything's just gone bang and out. But we can now start picking up the pieces from here, I think. Honestly, if it goes down from here, then God knows, like, I've got no hope at all. But is it more realistic to expect United to not turn this around? I think that's the question that's going around a lot of the media. Like, we're getting used to United failing now. That's it. Another injury-prone Chelsea reject. Great business, says Leo. Look, I mean, he had a bad injury, a knee injury at the start of his Chelsea career. I'm for the loan deal. It's low risk, and I think he comes in and he does a job for United for the next 6 months. I would never buy Nkunku. Never buy him, unless he was dirt cheap. But that's never going to happen with the numbers that Chelsea are putting out. Look, I just think it's a smart move for Nkunku. I think he has got over his injuries. I touch wood, I pray that he has. He was unfortunate with that knee injury because that was just highlighted by everybody. But he is a really good player. He does offer a lot. In terms of other forward options for Manchester United, when it comes to the academy, we're not getting much from there. Ethan Wheatley has now been sent on loan to Walsall until the end of the season. So, yeah, another academy forward has gone. It's about time that Wheatley went on loan, I think. That would be really good for him. I think that is a good loan move, personally. So, for Wheatley, yeah, that's good. Another option for United? No. Looks like Ruben has made his decision on a lot of the academy players. And I think we're getting the news from that now. I feel like they are not going to make it. Personally, right now, looking at this, the amount of loans that are going on, especially for the under-21 players, so like your 19, 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, if they're going out on loan, then they're clearly not making it into the Manchester United side anytime soon. I think they're going out on loan just to show a little bit of value, and I think United will be selling a few of them in the summer. I have said this before, though. I think that's the play for Manchester United right now. I think that's what they're looking to do. They're looking to use the academy players just on the fringes, I think, to bring more money in. It's great how the chat just disagrees and agrees with each other. The debate is fantastic. It's like Sam says there, Shirky is too lazy. He doesn't score enough goals. Stats are not everything. It's all so opinionated. It just divides opinion so much done to each player. Our academy is so weak. It's fallen behind every other Premier League, possibly Championship level clubs. Jason Wilcox has his work cut out. It's not fallen behind. It's just the under 21 level is nowhere near as good as the 18s right now. The 18s that are coming through are the best out there. They are what it is. They are everything that United are looking at in the future. And I think that's what we're trying to nurture through right now. It's the 16, 17 and 18-year-olds that were being looked at more than the 19, 20, 21s. I don't think anybody who's 19 and above now will make it into the United's first team. I really don't. Anyway, that pretty much rounds everything up, everybody, because we need to get across to football talks. It's Soccer Saturday time, everybody. You will be diverted across. Just want to say thank you to everybody again for joining us on this stream and on the show here on FUTV. Please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you've given the video a like. That'll take us over 300 live likes. I am going across now to Football Talks. I will see you all there. Soccer Saturday time, everybody. I'll be there in just a few moments, so just bear with me a minute. But you will be directed across in just a moment anyway. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you all over on Football.